He's just awesome.
What the 24 car is doing is extraordinary.
Jeff Gordon is an awesome race driver.
Maybe he's just better. I don't know. The 24 bug stepped on it. They still got it, I tell you.
I'm looking in the mirror, and here he comes. Got to give them credit. They get the job done.
I mean, those guys, they do it. I mean, I don't know. I know how, but they just do it.
I don't know. Jeff Gordon may win them all.
It's never been done before in the modern era of NASCAR. And in the long history of the sport, only Richard Petty and Bobby Allison have accomplished it. Tonight, Jeff Gordon goes for 5 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup wins.
In Winston Cup, you got to earn these victories. They're not going to come easy. I'd like to be a 2-time Brickyard winner.
I guess when it's meant to be, it's just meant to be.
Anything can happen in this sport at any time. These are days you just shrug your shoulders and shake your head. You know, why things happen the way they do, I don't know.
A little bit of luck doesn't hurt either. If you can just survive, if you can be there, you can be in contention.
You know, every time I pull into victory lane, I'm more and more amazed that we've actually done it.
One day when I look back on everything that we've done, and it could end, next week, and I would be very, very happy and very satisfied and content with everything that's happened in my life, especially in my career.
One team has set the standard. They're called the Rainbow Warriors.
The best there is, and this team has just given me unbelievable equipment each and every weekend.
You can go your whole life and not get a chance to be part of something like this. So for somebody like me, I've wanted to race my whole life. This is all I've wanted to do, and I've wanted to be good at it. To get the opportunity to be part of this, it's just amazing. So those guys are my heroes.
And one driver has reached the mark.
And that kid right there amazes me. He can do some things that other people just can't do, and that's the bottom line.
I can't believe, what we've done in the last 4 weeks. It's unbelievable to me.
And one track could prove to be the most difficult stage on which to perform.
The action on the track is just close, bumper to bumper, banging wheels. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. I mean, the toughest ticket in NASCAR Winston Cup racing is to get to this Bristol night race.
And the night has arrived. More than 140,000 race fans have gathered around this half-mile racetrack in Northeast Tennessee. Any race here creates a roar, but it's heightened by this man, Jeff Gordon, who can rewrite the NASCAR history books. Can he win his 9th of the year and 5th straight? One team and one team only can achieve this lofty goal here in Bristol tonight. Live from Bristol Motor Speedway in Northeast Tennessee, ESPN Speed World welcomes you to live coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Tonight, the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Well, Jeff Gordon is not only going for his 5th straight win, he's trying to add to his points lead. However, the top 3 in points are closer this year than they were last year. This place always brings a lot of enthusiasm to this night race, and these fans that are gathered here tonight have given us about all that we can stand. Jeff Gordon is set to go for 5 in a row, but 42 other drivers are also hoping to keep him from winning that 5th race.
And now, for those 4 most famous words in racing, our Grand Marshal, Merle Edwards. Gentlemen, start your engines.
While the media, this massive crowd, and you millions at home may be focused on this one chance for one man and one team to establish a modern era record, this team is more focused on the big picture. Yeah, I know they've won the 4 of the last 7 events here, but they have never won a NASCAR Winston Cup short track race at 9. And to make matters even more worrisome, their last 2 outings tonight, here last August, and in Richmond in June, they finished 35th and 37th. So it's not the drive to win 5 that's on their mind, but rather the drive to survive that has the Rainbow Warriors worried.
The only records Rusty Wallace wants to talk about are the ones that were recorded by Elvis. And most of those were hits. There'll be a lot of hits recorded here tonight. In 93 and 94, Rusty was singing the same song points one year, 8 the next. But in the last 50 races, no wins. Close a couple of times, but really for Rusty, it's been Heartbreak Hotel. Tonight, at least for now, he's #1 on the charts, on the pole at a track where he's won 6 times. At Bristol, it's Wallace that wants to be the king of rock and roll tonight.
Following last week's roller coaster ride of emotions at Michigan for Mark Martin, he said he was going home to prepare for a dominating performance here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And during happy hour, it looked as if he were prepared to do just that. That is, until Bobby Labonte passed him and took off. Apparently, Labonte and company have hit upon a combination. Although Jimmy Makar says it's nothing special, just a variation on last year's setup. You know, springs, shocks, sway bar. But will it work under the lights?
It is a very special night. We're up here in a glass-enclosed booth, but still the excitement, the electricity is everywhere. But I'm not sure that this is the place that Jeff wants to go for that record, Ned.
Bob, it is perhaps harder to control your own destiny on this racetrack than any racetrack that they run on. They zip around here in just over 16 seconds. A lot of things can happen. You don't have to make a mistake yourself, Benny. You can get caught up in somebody else's mistake.
Yeah, this is 16 seconds on a half-mile racetrack, over 122 mile per hour average around here. And if something happens, you're in the wreck before you can even think about stepping on the brakes. A tough, tough racetrack to win on, much less try to go for 5 in a row.
Well, the 43 cars are down there with their engines started, ready to go, 500 laps. Let's check the Walmart EverStart starting lineup. Rusty Wallace on the pole with his 5th pole here in Bristol, but first in the night race. Mike Skinner has 2 top 5 starts here in Bristol in '98. In the second row, Ricky Rudd with 11 Bristol top 5s, and Mark Martin, who finished second in last year's race. The third row, Jeremy Mayfield, his first Bristol top 5 start, and Ted Musgrave, his best qualifying effort of 1998. Starting 7th will be Jeff Gordon in his stride for 5 alongside his Ward Burton with 1 top 10 finish here at Bristol. Starting 9th will be Dale Jarrett, the defending champion of the Goodies Headache Powder 500, and Bobby Labonte, 2 wins this season. Now, as you look down the rest of the starting lineup, pay particular attention to the first 25 because they have a decided advantage over everybody else here tonight.
It's 21, Bob. Only 21 pits on both sides of the racetrack. 21 on the front, 21 on the back. As a matter of fact, 2 cars will have to share a pit on the back stretch. And pitting on the front stretch, Ned, is a huge advantage.
It is, even though they've adjusted the speed on the pace car, trying to even that up, it still is an advantage to pit on the front stretch.
As we look back at these cars, Bill Elliott will start back on the outside of row 14, has a very good race car.
He was very good in practice this afternoon. He was good in practice yesterday, but slipped a little bit in qualifying, so he's on the back stretch.
I'm sorry, back in row 19 on the inside is Ernie Irvin. He was our pole sitter last week in Michigan and led the most laps. This week, he had to get in the field, he had to take a provisional.
And he was only a couple tenths of a second slower than the pole sitter here tonight, so that's how close they qualify here at Bristol.
There you see the other provisional starters for tonight's race. Taking the previous champion's provisional was Darrell Walters. He starts back in 35th position. Let's check our onboard cameras for tonight's race.
Wally Don back to 50 car. He'll be starting in 38th spot. We'll be riding along with him. Kenny Wallace, also the Square D car, has an onboard starting in 31st spot. How about Sterling Marlin, the Coors Light onboard camera, starts in 29th position. Bill Elliott, McDonald's. He has his nighttime McKnight car here tonight. He'll be starting 27th. And Bobby Labonte, a lot of fellas think this is a guy that can win tonight, will be starting outside row 5. Mark Martin trying desperate to win this championship outside the second row in 4th spot. And Mike Skinner, also the outside pole sitter, will be riding along with him on his Lowe's onboard camera. And Rusty Wallace, our pole sitter, also with the Miller Lite onboard camera. And Jeff Bodine, the Circuit City onboard camera.
We'll go 500 laps here tonight. Charlie Glotzback with the record. Look when it was set back in 1971. The pit window somewhere between 135 and 145. That is, assuming that there are no cautions, which there undoubtedly will be. And they're going for $1.7 million. These are the drivers who, in the modern era, that is since 1972, have won 4 races in a row However, nobody has won 5 in a row. There you see where the drivers finished in their attempt to win 5 in a row, and 3 of those streaks came to end on a short track. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here tonight. We're just about set to go racing here at Bristol.
And the green flag will be waved by Perry Doughty of New Bern, North Carolina. More than 50,000 entries. He was the winner. Attaboy, Perry.
Very quickly, that inside line gets going, hanging Mike Skinner out. He's in several positions in lap 1. He falls into 5th.
Well, in the early going, it will be single file because the inside line is the place to be.
And Jerry Nadeau, already the Cartoon Network car is very slow. Maybe he just got high and just got everything checked back. Looks like now he's back up to speed.
Just got a little too high over in corner number 2. Here is Rusty Wallace, who has now led 23 of the last 25 short track races. But Ricky Rudd is right there on his back bumper.
Ricky Rudd wants to lead this race. His car is good. He is really working on Rusty. Looked on the inside, nothing there. Rusty hugging that inside. Not much room to pass down there.
Back to the 3rd place car of Mark Martin, who's closely pursued by Ted Musgrave. Then comes Skinner, Jeremy Mayfield, Ward Burton, and Jeff Gordon.
Ricky Rudd is just waiting, hoping that Rusty Wallace makes a little bit of a slip. If he does, that tide rod will be in the first position.
And a good battle back there for 3rd spot. Ted Musgrave is going to take it. Ted is driving the 23 car tonight for Jimmy Spencer.
Mark Martin didn't fight him. He let him go. He said, okay, if you're that good, go on up there and race those guys who are battling for 1st and 2nd.
Good battle back here in the middle of the pack.
And we see Kenny Wallace. Car's getting under him. There goes Chad Little by the John Deere. Kenny Irwin goes by the Texaco car, and that's Elliott Sadler in the 92 car. In his 2nd Winston Cup start ever.
That's 30th through 35th.
Musgrave had the fastest at over 117, almost 118 miles an hour among the top 5.
He is gaining on the 1st and 2nd place cars.
Sadler and Kenny Wallace running side by side, wheel to wheel. Here comes Steve Park up there now, also Ernie Irvin.
One thing that they're trying to do, you can get lapped so easily on this racetrack, Rob, so you want to get as much track position, get by as many cars as you can, because when the leaders come up on them to lap them, the more cars you can have between yourself and the leaders, the better you're going to be. And here's a lead change already.
And Ricky Rudd has taken the lead, becoming our 2nd leader of the evening. This is only the 3rd event of 1998 that he has led. He last led at Sears Point. The other race he led was just 1 lap at Dover.
See, Mark Martin is going back by Ted Musgrave.
And Musgrave didn't fight him. He saw Martin coming up, but your car is a little bit faster now, so he'll let you go.
Here's Mike Skinner and Jeremy Mayfield going at it. This is for the 5th position. Jeremy trying to get to the inside, coming down the backstretch into turn 3. He's got the nose under Skinner and will take advantage.
Jeff Gordon is right behind this duo.
And he's trying to take a look on the inside of Skinner, but Skinner comes down, blocks the move. I'm told that Jerry Nadeau, the throttle was hanging on that car is the reason for him slowing.
What a racetrack to have the throttle hang up on you.
Toughen up on this place without having to concentrate on that.
And here goes Rusty Wallace now. Back into the lead. Ricky led 4 laps, and now Rusty takes over once again.
One thing that happens on this racetrack, when a car gets up behind you, runs real as close as they were running there, it loosens your car up a little bit. And sometimes you want to just let him go. And then you get behind him and do the same thing to him. And so he has no choice but to let you go. And there, Ricky's working on Rusty once again.
It is a good, tight battle up front. Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd. 1st and second as 16 laps have been completed in the Goodies Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway.
It starts here. It starts here. It also starts here and here. And it all starts right here at Walmart, home of the EverStart battery. All the coal-cranking power your truck, car, boat, or more will ever need. Power you can count on when you need it most. And since it's at Walmart, you can also count on a good price. EverStart. The name says it all. In Murray, Utah, a lot of folks like to work on their cars themselves. And they come to AutoZone because they know they'll find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and helpful people like Rick Perry. Now, Rick's been around cars all his life, so he knows a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. And whether it's selling new parts or testing old ones, he's always glad to help. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Our competition won't be able to explain when the only four-door rookie in NASCAR starts blowing their doors off. Maybe they should get more doors. Ford Taurus.
How come the leading oil filter material stops less dirt than Mobil 1's filter material? That's how come the Mobil 1 oil filter. Nothing stops dirt better. Available at AutoZone or call for the retailer nearest you.
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, where you can see that Ricky Rudd has reassumed the lead and Mark Martin has gone to second. Jeremy Mayfield is now third as the positions change here early on in the Goodies Headache Powder 500. Our ESPN Speed World coverage here at Bristol is being brought to you by Ford, makers of vehicles that are built to last. By Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. And by Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1. 26 laps completed. They click off quickly here, and look at the top three. They are completely different than when we went to break.
Ricky Rudd has about a 10-15 car length advantage on Mark Martin. Take a look how it happens from Mark Martin's onboard camera, the Valvoline on board. And watch this. Oh, little contact. Rusty goes up the hill. Now Mark's going to try it again, and almost in contact once again. But finally Mark was able to get by, and also Jeremy got by Rusty.
So Mayfield is now third. Musgrave is fourth.
Now, this is when the thing is really going to start getting excited, because they're catching the back of the field already. And now it's these guys. We see Steve Park, Darrell Waltrip, Jerry Nadeau trying to stay in the lead lap. And the Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield trying to take positions away, trying to use slow cars to do it.
See whether Rudd will go high or low here and try to get around Steve Park and Darrell Waltrip and the others.
Rest assured he wants to go low, Bob, if there's any possibility of that.
All of this from the Pennzoil copter cam circling overhead in the beautiful northeast Tennessee skies. And here now is a battle between Kyle Petty, Jeff Green, and Jeff Burton, who's moving up.
That's 15th, 16th, and 17th.
In heavy traffic is Ricky Rudd, and the top three still can't get by Steve Park and Jerry Nadeau.
Once again, these guys are just saying, look, we don't have to push me so hard early on. Mark Martin taking a look, trying to figure out what he can do.
To get him 5 bonus points. That would be that.
Never seen Jerry Nadeau. Steve Park gets on the inside of him, which opens the door for Rudd, and almost out of crash there. We see some cars slowing down, finally get in their car going again. Is John Andretti, the 43, Chad Little, Jerry Copeland, the 30, Kenny Irwin, 28, Kenny Wallace.
That's back about 29th, 30th, 31st, and on back. Let's take a look at that incident once again.
There we see Chad Little trying to go get on the inside of John Andretti, and little contact, and wow.
Oh.
Not only, Chad Little was being pushed by Derek Cope as well as pushing the 43 car.
So a lot of paint has been traded so far. However, we haven't had a caution yet. Let's hope we can keep this pace up. Something must be wrong with Andretti since he did have that little
Well, I think he got caught on the outside there, Bob, and just simply couldn't get back down. And he's falling back towards where the leaders are.
And here is Ricky Rudd moving to the inside of Dick Trickle. Already Hut Strickland, Steve Clark, and Jerry Mayhew have been lapped.
And now Dick Trickle.
Here's Robert Presley.
Kevin LePage in the 16 car and Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car.
And that would be back in 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. LePage, who won the Busch race last night here at Bristol, taking a look to the inside of Robert Presley, trying to get position on him. Well, I can imagine that there is a mental fatigue of having to run in traffic, but what is it like out there going this speed for that long?
I mean, mentally, it's probably the toughest thing right now because these cars are desperately trying to stay in the lead lap and realize the leaders are coming. Oh, we got Morgan Shepherd in the wall and spinning and
right in front of the leaders, or at least the second, third, and fourth place cars. Ricky Rudd was in front of it, but boy, a lot of other cars from second on back were right there.
The caution is out. Morgan Shepherd spun around, kept going. But still the caution flies on the 42nd lap here at Bristol. First caution of the evening. It happened over in turn number 1.
Darrell Waltrip gets on the inside of Morgan Shepherd as they came to the start-finish line. Morgan cuts down. Don't know that Darrell has a fender up there, I don't believe. Darrell thinks he knows it. They touch, and up into the wall Morgan goes.
And watch him come down right in front of Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield. Man.
And Jeff Gordon wasn't back there too far. What about pit stops this early? 41 laps in, guys.
I would be surprised if we would see the leaders come in this early.
Well, the pit is open, and nobody has taken advantage of it, so you're right. It looks like everybody's going to stay out there for this first caution, which was brought about by Morgan Shepherd spinning over in turn number 2. The leader is Ricky Rudd here at Bristol. Running in second position is Mark Martin, then Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, and Jeff Gordon.
Shop Home Emporium first to take advantage of their ever-changing inventory. With trucks arriving weekly, they're bound to have just what you're looking for, and the prices are so low you won't believe it. Come to Home Emporium now to take advantage of these specials.
Let Home Emporium light up your life with beautiful ceiling mount light fixtures, all priced from $14.88 to $59. Also available, you'll find solid brass outdoor wall mount fixtures on sale now for only $11 to $16, with a variety of styles and finishes to choose from.
Home Emporium is more than just a home accessory store. It's variety and quality at affordable prices.
Hey, sports fans, go for it. Catch the action live. Be there in person with Great Atlantic Travel and Tour, NFL, Major League Baseball, and Winston Cup Racing. Day trips, overnight trips, and new drives. Great trips to Winston Cup Racing at Richmond and Daytona night races, Martinsville, Dover, Charlotte, and try our baseball special, Orioles versus Braves. For the best values in sports trips, call Great Atlantic Travel and Tour, your ticket to great sports. Call 422-9001. That's 422-9001.
Things I know about the helmet can. Number 1, it was gimmicky. Number 2, it never worked. And number 3, you're an idiot. Now who's playing cards?
ESPN Sunday Night Football. 17 weeks, 18 games. Under the lights.
You know, I don't appreciate being called an idiot. Just because you fear technology, that's not my fault. I've been called a lot of things at this table, but an idiot will not be one of them.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. The season begins September 6th.
I'll be afraid to wear that helmet, Cam. The radio waves might mess up my mind.
To thank the greatest fans in sports and to close its 50th anniversary season, NASCAR offers you a chance to win a fantasy trip to the Napa 500 in November. On September 27th, during ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series race from Martinsville, we will announce a special phone number. When you call that number, you will be given 4 NASCAR-related questions. Answer them correctly, and you could be one of 10 fans to win this exclusive behind-the-scenes experience. Check out NASCAR online and NASCAR Winston Cup Scene for details and a sneak preview of the questions.
Still under the first caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Those pitted here on the front stretch that are running up front did not pit. However, we had several that made pit stops on the back stretch. There was nothing for them to lose, so they came in for a change of tires. Now, we're under caution because of this incident on the 41st lap.
You see Morgan Shepherd going up brushing the wall, and watch as he comes down, and Mark drives to the bottom of the racetrack on the apron. See Jeff Bodine also sees Morgan Shepherd down on the inside, and look at the contact between those guys.
During the pit stops, Chad Little came in on the back stretch, lost a wheel. Jerry Nadeau was also in, and his hood flew up. So all kinds of things happening here under the caution.
Jerry Nadeau actually lost a couple of laps while he was in there trying to fix that problem. See Bill Elliott as he gets set for the restart. He's back in 29th spot. Wally Dolan back. Bobby Labonte.
Bobby is 8th.
Jeff Bodine's on board. He's in 10th spot. Second place car, Mark Martin. Mark's trying to figure out now, how can I get in front of this 10 car? I need 5 bonus points now. Ricky Rudd's a pretty nice guy. He understands how badly I need these 5 points.
Let's see what strategy, if any, he employs here to try to get the lead. Pretty slow restart here. Ricky Rudd brings him back up. He accelerates.
And Mark's car, he spun the wheels or something. He didn't get a good takeoff.
2 lap cars move between first and second. Namely Dick Trickle and Steve Park. That he has led since the 1997 Brickyard that he won, and Dick Trickle gets a lap back.
Yeah, he just drives down there and goes on by. Now, Dick, I believe, is one of those drivers that made a pit stop, put on 4 new tires, and so did the car number 1 of Steve Park, so he gets back on the lead lap.
It looks like the new tires is a decided advantage here this evening, with tires that have about 40 laps. The crew's done it told me today about 25 laps. These tires really get, and Jeremy Mayfield goes to the second spot. Rusty Wallace tries to close it on Mark Martin. Can't quite do it. There see Jeff Gordon.
Wallace, our only other leader tonight. Oh, look at this mess. Irwin and Irvin going at it there, along with the 13 of Dennis Setzer. Kenny Wallace is there, yeah. Chad Little.
Did not lose a lap despite losing that tire. So fast work by the crew.
Boy, those new tires do make a difference. Look at the difference in speed between Rudd, who did not change tires, and Steve Park, right back in 40th, who did.
So we can see he's 0.2 of a second faster than Ricky Rudd. Looks like Jeremy Mayfield right now. The Mobile 1 car's closing in. Dolan backs up high. Cars going by. Kenny Irwin goes by. Ernie Irvin on the inside. There comes John Andretti. We get on the outside. It's a tough road to hoe up there.
Andretti and Dolan back wheel to wheel on First Plus Natural Field Sunday, giving us an indication of the manufacturer's battle.
Sterling Marlin now on the outside. Dollenbach is now to the bottom of the racetrack, and Kenny Wallace now gets up high, and Bobby Hamilton dives to the inside.
Sterling Marlin also caught on the outside. Several cars pass him by, and Andretti goes by him. Now here comes Dollenbach. John Kernan has a report on the 81 of Kenny Wallace.
Bob, early in the race, Kenny Wallace was complaining of the car being very, very loose. They made an adjustment, put on 4 tires, this caution, but then while they were running around at the slower speed, he said, all my temperature gauges are pegged. But he hasn't said anything more since it had gone back to green. Apparently, he has to have a little speed going to get the air into the radiator to keep things cooled down.
And we have a new leader, the third of the evening. Jeremy Mayfield takes the top spot from Rudd. The 31 of Mike Skinner, who started second, just got out of shape and is losing a position. There's Joe Nemechek going by, and here comes Johnny Vincent.
That's a battle back for the 16th, 17th position. It's Brett Bodine. Brett Bodine stopped and changed some tires. And is already backed up to the 20th spot.
Round lineup, we got to do what we can here.
And here's what happened to Mike Skinner moments ago.
He goes in the corner behind Kyle Petty, and we see he gets a little bit high on the racetrack, and Jeff Green starts under him, makes contact, and Skinner did a good job chasing that car up the hill.
And Vinny, the reason he's chasing the car is exactly what you said a little bit earlier. They hit lap 30, and suddenly they began to scream. The cars are getting very, very loose. Mike Skinner would love to have pitted and made a track bar just for the air pressure, but couldn't afford to give up track position, although he's losing it right now. Likewise, Rusty Wallace in the car number 2 and Mark Martin are both complaining that their cars are very loose coming off the corner. They would have loved to have made an air pressure change too, but once again, couldn't give up valuable track position.
On board with Rusty Wallace, who's about 3/4 of a second behind in third position. Now this is Wally Dallenbach's on board, looking.
How many of you guys ever getting that's got 4 tires, Wally?
They're telling us some of those guys that are in front of them stopped and changed 4 tires. That's one reason they're so much faster than Wally. Trying to keep the driver informed of everything that's going on.
Kyle in 44 car. Jeff Green in the green 46 car. Passes Kyle.
Round 33.
14th position, Green took over.
Last time Ken Schrader led the race was here at Bristol in the spring. Meanwhile, back up front, it's still Jeremy Mayfield that's hanging on. And you see the interval back to first position. There he is.
And there's beginning to come into traffic again, lapping cars.
Rudd and Wallace running second and third. There is Jeff Gordon running back in 6th spot. In 5th is Dale Jarrett.
Jarrett just passed him about 3 laps ago.
And how is he doing in comparison to the leader of the race?
Well, we see Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Gordon. We can see that Gordon has lost a second to the leader. And we can see how consistent Mayfield was at 17-0 to 17-1. And look at Jeff Gordon at 1 lap, 17-7, just killed it. Bill Weber?
Jeff Gordon's car is very loose. During the last caution period, he talked it over with Ray Evernham. They were going to make an air pressure adjustment on the left front and the right rear to try and compensate for that loose handling condition. Obviously, they're looking for a caution as well.
Gordon in 6th spot, and here is the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy had a down period after he won at Pocono, but he's beginning to come back now. Had a good run at Michigan last week, and he is now leading for the first time since he won at Pocono, which was 7 races ago. Mayfield by just about a half second over Ricky Rudd, and about 2/3 of a second over Rusty Wallace in third position. 71 out of 500 laps completed here in the Goodies Headache Powder 500.
Okay.
Oh, great. Yeah, that tune-up.
These AC Delco parts are about the most dependable you can buy. They should really help improve your performance.
Come on, they're all the same. I'll take some out of this bushel basket.
Okay.
AC Delco. No matter what you drive, if you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Dude, get down. It's my chair. Let's go. I'm not playing games.
Okay, here we
do.
He's got him right where he wants it. Just a bit outside.
Hey, those dog obedience classes really paid off.
I believe coming in, guys. Look, Bill's in trouble.
Don't worry, Bill. We'll take it from here.
Go, 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 down.
Here! Where can you always find a fast and friendly drive-thru crew? Did somebody say McDonald's?
Here's my idea. Best Buy should quit ruining my career. These mascots are going to Best Buy, getting an NFL Sunday ticket from DirecTV, and stealing my moves. The head shine, you see that? That was mine, with up to 13 regular season games a week. Bucket of confetti, you thieves! And now when you get NFL Sunday ticket on DirecTV, Best Buy's giving away NFL jackets. I'm finished!
DirecTV at Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
I got your idea. Bigger jacket.
World coverage tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. There's the huge facility. Holds about 130,000 seats and about 10,000 more in the suites. We're showing it to you from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. The race continuing at speed. 81 laps have now been completed. The NASCAR website at www.nascar.com has the latest news and results. Even those of us here in the broadcast booth use the NASCAR Online. That's where I found out earlier this week that Michael Waltrip and the Wood Brothers Parting Company, and also where I found out that Joe Nemechek had signed on with Felix Sabatis until the year 2000 or through the year 2001. So a lot of news on www.nascar.com.
There you see the battle for fourth position. Dale Jarrett, the Ford Quality Care car, has it. That's the blue 88. Mark Martin lost it just a couple of laps ago. And Sterling Marlin really cannot keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack. And check it out. There's the outside pole center, Mike Skinner, and right behind it is the leader of the race to put Skinner a lap down. Then he should have pitted that the last time he got some four tires.
They should have. That car apparently very loose and needed some adjustments on it. Now he's going to go a lap down.
Leader inside.
Mike has dropped from second
Corner.
to 36th
Clear.
in 85 laps.
He's coming back. Second place coming with him. Inside.
Goes a lap down. Look at the fastest car that lap.
Ernie Irvin all the way back in 20th position. But again, Ernie Irvin evidently has clean racetrack, and that's something these leaders right now desperately need. Is clean racetrack.
Well, of course, the leader now is out in the open a little bit, but he's been going through some heavy traffic.
And that last lap, Kenny Irwin was the fastest, and he runs back in 16th.
There's still 35 cars on the lead lap.
Dick Trickle, who was lapped once.
Still there. Big car's coming.
And he got back in the lead lap after he changed tires. Dick Trickle did.
That's Mike Skinner's radio we're listening to. As the spotter tells him all these cars going by on the inside. Now that's for
Car inside. Clear low, clear low, clear hold 96. Clear low behind the 96.
Back in 16th position is Kenny Irwin, one of the drivers going for Rookie of the Year honors in NASCAR Winston Cup competition.
He's having a good run going.
Bob, they actually took advantage. They got 4 tires. They made an air pressure adjustment, and right now he's running very, very fast. Whether Labby and the crew kind of coaching him along, be patient, be smooth. Spotter talking to him, telling him when he's clear, telling him not to get into trouble, that they've got a long way to go to the end of this race, but he keeps marching toward the front. Kenny Irwin putting on a very impressive performance here in the early going.
Driven many laps on tracks similar to this at Salem and Winchester, Indiana, and USAC Sprint Car and Midget and Silver Crown competition. Here's Ernie Irvin, who has also been on the move.
A couple of laps ago, he would have ran the fastest lap of anyone.
Ernie said during qualifying the other day, he didn't qualify well, had to take a provisional to get in the field, but he said he had a good race car for the race, and apparently he does have it.
Started 37th, as you can see, and right now on lap 91, he's running in 19th position.
Here's Jack Gordon, who is in 7th position. He, too, has just lapped Mike Skinner.
Inside. Still there.
Leaders are in heavy traffic again. As you see, Jeremy Mayfield has come up on Dick Trickle, who passed Ricky Rudd, got back in the lead lap, but now those tires are really hot and worn. That advantage has gone away.
Sometimes the only way you can get around the guy in front of you is get out there and give him a little bit of a tap and then take advantage.
Well, when you do that, you're involved in the crash that's a result of that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Be so careful. You heard him talk about it. You want to keep all 4 fingers on the car. You don't want to knock the finger in on a tire. About 5 cars running right there together.
All this patience will last for about 150 laps, and then they'll run out of patience. Some of them will, and some of them won't. See Dale Jarrett back there trying to take a look on the inside of Rusty Wallace. That would be for 3rd position. Oh, Trickle. Yep. You know, loop when he came off that second corner.
First 5 cars are running right together. Allow Dale Jarrett to come up and join the battle, and Mark Martin. And behind Martin now is Bobby Labonte, who has moved to 6th. Jeff Gordon is 7th.
And Bobby Labonte is less than 2 seconds behind the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Check out our Tabasco hot zone and watch the RPMs down the straightaway. 7,900. This traffic is keeping that. They ought to be turning about 9,000.
Yeah, at least 85 or 800, somewhere in that neighborhood. But you're right, that traffic. And of course, the tires are heated up and worn, and they won't run as fast. The lap speeds aren't nearly as high as they will be when they put new tires on them, so that'll run the RPMs up.
The top speed of about 116 miles an hour under those conditions.
You'll see all the cars strung around the Bristol Motor Speedway. See Dick Trickle up there finally gets on the inside of Kenny Wallace. And 12 car goes down, hits the apron that time, and the exhaust pipe hit and drug. That'd be an anxious moment for Jeremy. There we see the leaders right behind Kenny Wallace as Trickle's trying to get on the inside.
Now Jeremy has 2 cars in front of him, one high, one low. So he's really boxed in.
They got all the good options taken, don't they?
Not much you can do under those situations. You can see the donut on Trickle's car already.
And Trickle has one of those DuPont chrome illusion paint jobs. When it hits the light, it goes from green to purple, or I think it's called purpleine or something.
Just cannot do it.
Oh, about had some contact that time between the leader and Dick Trickle.
You got to be impressed with Kenny Wallace up there in that outside group. He's been holding them off. Here comes Trickle again down on the inside.
Kenny, of course, was the pole sitter for this race a year ago. Boy, that is some battle.
Both of them are just fighting for their lives because that's the leader right behind them. If they can stay there, the caution comes out, they save a half mile, an entire half mile. The pace car picks up the 12 car. These other cars get to go all the way around the racetrack.
That's 34th and 35th running side by side.
They've been doing so for several laps now. And again, Trickle looks down off the corner.
Oh, this time he goes up the hill and just carries Kenny up out of the groove.
Knew it had to happen sometime that they'd get together.
Now Rusty will come up to battle with his brother. Mayfield has now led the most laps. He's led 50.
Oh, and some contact between Jeremy and Trickle. And Trickle goes up the racetrack. Jeremy on the inside.
Down, there you go.
Make that pass.
Good call, looking under, but it's not there. Coming under.
Now,
Get behind the 10.
Get behind the 10, but Rusty Wallace is there.
Good call coming under. 88 coming with him, but it's not there. You're clear.
well, the first three have cleared that major traffic jam. It's Jeremy Mayfield, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, the top three. Jeff Gordon, going for 5 wins in a row, is in 7th position.
Let me tell you a story about the trucks that never sleep.
Got an early one, huh?
Better fill it up. It's the tough new line of Ford F-Series. With over 50 different models to custom fit the job. That's more than anyone else. And they all come with power you can count on. They're like some trusty sidekick in an old Western. Except this movie never ends.
See you tomorrow.
You can count on it. The Ford F-Series. The most powerful, most complete line of trucks ever built Ford top.
This is no ordinary leather jacket.
Because when you put it on, you're not just saying you're a NASCAR fan.
You're saying you care about kids.
Buy an EX-side NASCAR Select battery in 1998 and get the special 50th anniversary NASCAR jacket for just $150.
And on behalf of NASCAR fans everywhere, Exide will donate all profits to Give Kids the World Foundation.
The special edition 50th anniversary NASCAR jacket. Look for details wherever Exide NASCAR Select is sold.
Nice jacket.
As if changing your oil isn't exciting enough, you can now win big in Pennzoil's Under the Cap sweepstakes.
I'm a winner! I won!
Playing is easy.
I love you!
Next time you change your oil, just check Under the Cap to see if you've won the $250,000 home grand prize, or one of 10,000 VersaPack power tools, or a $10,000 home workshop. Stop. Go, Pennzoil.
Thank you. Next.
Howard Sherman.
You'll be a fair and impartial juror in this trial?
Yes, sir. I think I can. I think everybody has the right to a fair trial in this country, and innocent until proven guilty. That's my motto.
Excuse.
If you're going to get out of jury duty,
What?
get out of jury duty. If you're going to get a burger, get a burger. The Monster Burger, only at Hardee's. 2 large, juicy patties with the most bacon and cheese you can get.
You gonna go? Go all out.
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, where the caution has come out for the second time. Joe Nemechek out into some trouble up at the second turn area of the racetrack.
And it's a big break for those cars that were about to go a lap down. The next car that was going a lap down would have been Dale Earnhardt. Jeremy Mayfield was right on his back bumper when the caution came out.
And you see they're having trouble getting the jack around the car. They cannot get the left side up because the left front is flat to get the car in. Now finally they get the car jacked up.
Come back and get right. Come back and get right. Front flat.
Go ahead, the pace car, Dale just went by.
And the pace car has picked up the field, and so the pits are open here on the front stretch. And here they come.
All of them come. And boy, Ned, some of them said, thank goodness.
Yes.
And Jeff Gordon probably the main one. Jerry Punch.
Expect to see some track bar adjustments and air pressure adjustments on most of the lead cars. Almost everyone, including our leader, Mayfield, complaining of the cars being loose coming off the corner. Let's check in the Gordon pit with Bill.
4 tires, 2 cans of fuel, no adjustments for Gordon, although his car is a little loose. They did make the air pressure adjustment we talked about earlier. Traffic very tight on pit road. Gordon's away. Backstretch pits, John.
Kenny Irwin worked his way all the way up to the 11th spot. He pits now on the backstretch. Right side work is done. Here comes Rusty Wallace, Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Jarrett zipping by as more cars who pitted on the front stretch are going to go by him. They clean out the front and now it goes in, but the 16 car is going to beat him out. But I believe the 16 car with Kevin LePage took only right side tires. I'll have to check on that with a 4-tire change. John Andretti gets boxed in by Bill Elliott. He has to back up and a loose tire out on the track.
The second one already tonight. Chad Little lost one, and it rolled on the front straightaway. And here's another one. Looks like it's from Kyle Petty. He pushed it down pit road. It wasn't his. We don't know where it came from, but nevertheless,
Apparently came off as they were changing tires. It rolled out on pit road, and Kyle hit it and knocked it on out on the racetrack.
We can see the damage.
Come out here, Kyle, there.
Watch, there it is. Kyle is pushing. And all of a sudden, as he gets to the apron of the racetrack, the tire's going to leap. And watch it just stand up and start rolling. That tire's pretty trick, isn't it? And Rusty Wallace is back in the pits.
Wow, second time, Jerry. What's going on?
Apparently, they are having a problem with no brakes. They're going to have to try to stop the car. The crew now gets the car to stop. He was pumping the pedal, and they're going to jack it up to take the right front tire off. We'll see maybe if they have a brake line, maybe something's wrong with the caliper. Ordinarily, you wouldn't see that this early. You would see it possibly at Bristol, more likely at Martinsville, but they are concerned. When he left pit road, Rusty said, brake problem. As he came back down, he was pumping it, trying to get it to stop, and now they've taken the right front tire off. Robin Pemberton, Billy Wilburn, and the crew now over there looking to see if they can determine what the problem is. The NASCAR official standing there says 1 lap will be under green next time by, as Rusty is down off the jacks. Now they're trying to get him going, get the ring fire. There's a way, expect the green here next time as the pace car heads for turn 1.
Boy, he had beat everybody out of the pits, was in first place, and now he's going to be in 31st place.
Wow, he lost a lot of track of position. And we'll show you why we are under the second caution of the evening. It came out on lap 119.
And we see Joe Nemechek had made contact with someone. It might have been Elliott, I'm not sure, as they came off turn 4, and we see the left front tire is flat.
From Bobby Labonte's on board. Oh, Nadu into the wall, too, a little bit.
I think he got clipped a little bit with Dale Jarrett as Nadu was slowing down. Jarrett didn't see it, and he hit him just a little bit.
We'll take a break and be back with more live coverage of the Goodies Headache Powder 500 from Bristol in just a moment.
Occasionally, time flies even faster than usual, like during the Dodge Summer Clearance, where for a limited time, Dodge Caravan, America's best-selling minivan, comes with exceptionally low 1.9 financing. Or select cash back instead, like $1,500 on Grand Caravan, or get $1,250 cash back on this Caravan, making it America's lowest-priced minivan at just under $16,900. But please hurry, while time is still on your side. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
The credit card companies have made it extremely easy for all of us to get in debt. The good news is that interest rates are at an all-time low, and you don't even need any equity in your home to get out of the debt. All you have to do is just give me a call. I can help you.
They call Paul Clemens the Crunch Man because he's the best at getting people out of debt. Whether you want to get out of a crunch or save a bunch, you'll be glad you called. No more excuses, no better time. Call now.
Roger. Jack. I'm going to be a while.
Just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes out. We are back to racing. Mayfield still up front. Followed by Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace has lost a lap. He is down in 39th position due to his brake problem. Take a look at the pit summary now of where they were when they went in and where they were when they went out. Look at Rusty Wallace. He was third when he went into the pits, and he restarts in 39th, lap down.
But on the regular pit stop, he actually came out first, but then had to come back in. Jerry Funch has more.
Show you what happened to Rusty Wallace. Here is the right front caliper, one they were using. This right here is the bleeder valve. They thought it had broken this bleeder valve off. In reality, it had just gotten loose and was allowing fluid to leak out whenever he would jump on the brake pedal. They came back in the second time, lost the lap in the pits, and tightened the bleeder valve up. It is now nice and tight. Rusty is 1 lap down.
As 131 laps are completed, all cars are still running. There is Dale Jarrett running in second position with some lap cars around him.
having a tough time getting around Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace has found a high groove that's working for him. There's room down on the inside for DJ to pass, but so far he hasn't been able to make the pass, and Jeremy Mayfield is simply running away.
Jeremy Mayfield has opened a 2 1/4 lead on Dale Jarrett as Jerry tries his best to get by Kenny Wallace.
Boy, Wallace has been a tenacious battler tonight. He's been up on that high groove and has been able to make it work.
He sure has.
Now Jarrett.
I don't think so. Well, now he does.
Get around him.
Yeah, he did fine.
Bobby Labonte running back in third. Then Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd. Dale Jarrett coming into this 4th short track race of 1998 is the points leader in short track competition this year. 3 top 5 finishes in all 3 short track events. Here comes a First Plus Financial Field summary for you. First, the manufacturer's battle. Chevy with a 6-point edge.
Bobby Labonte now catches Kenny Wallace, tries to get by. Let's see. Interstate batteries on board.
Kenny Irwin has worked his way to the top 10. Man, is he having a good run.
He is. That's a terrific run. Starting back where he did.
Shows a lot of patience, and also shows that he has a good race car.
Started in 34th position. John Kernan.
Hey, let me tell you about this rookie out there running to run 500 laps at Bristol, and how he's trying to keep his mind off of how long this race actually is. During the caution last time, right before they went back to green, they said, okay, Kenny, clean off your tires, clean out your motor, 125 laps down. All he said on the radio to his team was, don't tell me how many laps are down.
Yeah, that means there's 375 to go.
He is the leader in the battle for the NASCAR Winston Cup Rookie of the Year honors. Best finish this year came at Texas and at the Brickyard, Atlanta, I should say. He finished 5th. His best starts were at Texas and the Brickyard. Finished 5th in Atlanta.
You see Kenny Schrader, the Skoll Chevrolet, right behind Kenny Irwin. Obviously, Schrader is in 11th position. He comes after 10 most times.
30 cars on the lead lap.
Rusty Wallace back there behind Elliott Sadler. There's Elliott, the 92, the Phil 66 car. There comes Rusty Wallace, a lap down.
That is for position when he makes the passes, because Steve Park in the 1 car is also a lap down.
Rusty moves to 35th. We mentioned Dale Earnhardt and how that most recent caution benefited him because he was about to go a lap down. He is now up to 18th.
Johnny Benson.
Benson is not carrying the Cheerios colors this year, as you can see. Instead, it's called the kids car, and they're pushing the kids line of cereals, Lucky Charms, and tricks, and that type of thing.
Schrader's been able to get by.
Boy, Jeremy Mayfield is all alone out there. Does he like that? There's second place. Jerry's about 1 1/3 second behind, and he too is running in clear traffic.
And right now, Jeremy has about a 2 1/4 lead on Dale Jarrett, and he has about a 2nd lead on Mark Martin.
And Mark Martin just passed Bobby Labonte a few laps ago for the 3rd position. And Bobby's sitting there running in pretty good shape too, as Trickle lets Mark Martin by, or at least Mark gets by. He might not let him by, but he passed him.
On board with Mark Martin running in the 3rd position, about 2.3 seconds behind Jeremy Mayfield. We've had 3 leaders so far tonight. Mayfield has led 87 laps, Ricky Rudd 43, and Rusty Wallace early led 17 before he lost the lap. He's now back in 34. There's a look at the top 10 with 146 of 500 laps completed.
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone. because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Even at 35 degrees below zero, nothing outperforms Mobil 1. Mobil 1 0W30. Superior protection when you start your car.
A National League battle on ESPN. Gary Sheffield and the Dodgers are making a run at the wild card. They'll head to Atlanta to tangle with the Big Cat and the Braves. Dodgers, Braves, Sunday Night Baseball. Tomorrow at 8 on ESPN.
All I care about is baseball.
Over the years, Bristol University has assembled some of the greatest minds in football. While it's important that we look back at the past, it's also important that we look forward to the future. Cheers. Cheers. NFL Countdown. Sundays at 11, Mondays at 6:30 on ESPN.
ESPN Speed World is live tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway in Northeast Tennessee. 140,000 people are here to see this NASCAR Winston Cup race, and possibly some records being set as Jeff Gordon goes for his 5th consecutive win here. This overhead shot of the beautiful facility here, courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. You can see that the cars have slowed down and are lining up behind the pace car. That's because Dick Trickle has shortened his number 90 Heilig Myers Ford.
Well, it's amazing that he was able to get it back to the garage area.
Watch the upper right-hand corner of this replay, and you may be able to see, there he is.
Kissing the corner, and I don't know that Bobby Labonte was close enough to him to have anything to do with that. We got an onboard camera with Bobby Labonte. Let's just check and see. You ever see Trickle? Going by the start-finish line down in turn 1. Down in the corner, and around he goes. And Labonte says, wow.
It's our 3rd caution of the evening. And nobody up front has chosen to come in for a pit stop.
Well, Ted Musgrave came in for the pit stop.
A few others that are running.
Ward Burton and Brett Bodine come in now, and Derek Cope.
And so Rich Bickle, very last car down there.
Down to Bill Weber.
Well, Ward Burton has been on pit road once. He took right side tires in order to not lose a lap. He had to come back in to get his left side tires. Took a little well on the left front, but he's away. Derek Cope did the same thing, and Musgrave was in. He got 4. Jerry?
Well, Dick Trickle's Heilig Myers Ford now gets a huge sledgehammer done to the back, what's left of the rear deck. Tommy Baldwin and the crew now for Dunleavy working on the car. That is a common tool for Bristol. Said you got to have 2 things to run here, a blindfold and a sledgehammer, and a tough evening for you, tough start. What happened, Dick?
Well, you know, we were tied up off, you know, and I was just trying to buy a lap. We got a lap back once and lost it again, but in this race, you know, we could get good enough, and Heilig Myers team could get me back in the lead lap, and we could get a finish out of it. But somebody must have dropped some fluid or something down there in 3, because I went in like normal, and all of a sudden it took off before I even got the corner.
How bad is it? We're watching the repairs right now. Will they be able to get the car back in, get you back out?
Well, I haven't looked at him yet. You know, I'm your first man here, so you're my first man. So I imagine we'll be able to do something here. But, you know, it's no fun running crippled here.
All right, the Heilig Myers crew scrambling, trying to get, they bring the huge sledgehammers out. Everybody grabs one and begins to beat and bang, trying to get some of the sheet metal pushed away. It looks like the fuel cell was intact, and if they get the sheet metal up off the tires, I got to believe that Dick Trickle will be back at it here for the Battle of Bristol.
And Dick Trickle had a third-place finish in this race last August, but things have gone wrong for him here as we're on the 158th lap. There's just part of the 140,000 people that are up and shouting and screaming as the race continues here at Bristol Motor Speedway under green when we come back in just a moment.
Hey, you want to win some cool stuff? A Chevy Monte Carlo, Trips, a Pepsi racing jacket. It's the Pepsi Triple Challenge. For a chance to win, guess the driver who leads the most laps after all 3 races and the number of laps led. Let's review. Guess the driver who leads the most laps after all 3 races. The winner by mail, the internet, or the NCI toll-free number.
Hey, Bob, can I win that Monte Carlo?
Right, 24, man, like you need a ride. So, go for it, fans. This one's for us.
It's time for a Pepsi Triple Challenge update. At the Pepsi 400 in Michigan, Ernie Irvan was not only the pole sitter, but he was also the driver who led the most laps, leading the pack around the 2-mile oval 115 times. Mark Martin was second with 57 laps led, and race winner Jeff Gordon only led 9 laps, but they were the most important laps, the final 9. The next Pepsi Triple Challenge race is the Pepsi Southern 500 in Darlington.
Ever think about the one, the only Pizza Hut pan, the holder of our favorite pizza? Yeah, we ooh and ah over the bubbling cheese and stuff, but do we ever compliment the pan? Thanks, pan, for making the crust so crispy and chewy. No, the pizza gets all the attention in the pan. Well, it gets washed. In honor of the forgotten pan, Pizza Hut is doing something unforgettable. For a very short time, a Supreme or up to 3 toppings pan pizza's just $8.99. $8.99. Oh, Pizza Hut, the best pizzas under one roof.
Backed by popular demand, the Nissan early model year-end clearance has been extended. Right now, with every new 98 Nissan in America, get an amazing $2,000 customer cash or 0% APR financing. Choose from the quality and craftsmanship of every new Nissan and get $2,000 customer cash or 0% APR. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Visit a Nissan retailer today and choose your Nissan. This $2,000 or 0% APR offer absolutely ends August 31st.
Bristol Motor Speedway, where as promised we are back to racing, and Jeremy Mayfield has the lead by about a second and a half over Dale Jarrett, who has a couple of lap cars between him, namely Rusty Wallace and Mike Skinner, but now Jarrett tries to get to the inside of Skinner.
He also has a Mark Martin run on his back bumper.
Jarrett's car appears to be a little bit tight, and it's tough for him to make those passes down. Looks like he's going to be able to make it now. The car, from my observation, looks like it's a little bit, the front end don't cut coming off the corners. That's what we call tight. But as you run on, sometimes that works to your advantage.
Skinner back in 32nd position.
Now, Rusty has caught his teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, and could get back on the lead lap. Let's go to the 5th and very top.
Yes, that is the plan. Mayfield said, we're going to let Rusty go. He's my teammate. He's been a huge help to me, and that's exactly what just happened. Mayfield pulled up, let the 2-car go by to get him back on the lead lap now. But Rusty's got to hustle because Mayfield can't afford to wait on him. He knows that Dale Jarrett is coming.
With Rusty back on the lead lap in 31st spot.
Well, what they're doing is they're putting it in Rusty's hands. Jeremy let him go by, as he should have. So Rusty's up there. Now, if he can't maintain that pace, and Dale Jarrett comes up and catches Jeremy Mayfield, Jeremy has no choice but go up, a little tap on Rusty's bumper and say, look, Rusty, you got to go on. You have to go on. If you can't, then you got to let me back by.
And then if I can maintain the lead and you're still there somewhere, and a caution comes out, I'll get back to the lead.
On board with 3rd place, Mark Martin.
Mark Martin is all over Dale Jarrett.
Having a great night as we see the field go by. First of all, Jeff Gordon running up in 6th position. In 7th is this guy with the Circuit City onboard camera. This is Jeff Bodine.
And you see that Joe Nemechek, the Bell South car, the car that lost many, many laps in the pits, is the car between he and Jeff Gordon.
He's got 4 positions since the start of the race. Highest Jeff has ever finished here was 3rd, and he's done that on 4 occasions in the 32 races that he's competed in, most recently in the sprint race of '89.
Well, see Terry Labonte, and also Michael Walton is in 9th position.
And I mentioned earlier that Michael and the Wood brothers have decided to part company at the end of this year, or at least Michael's going to look for a new team, and the Wood brothers are going to look for a new driver. And Michael told us earlier in the weekend that, the Wood brothers did, I guess, that if neither one of them can find anything better, whoop, second place goes to Mark Martin. But they'll come back together.
Well, that's right. They're going to look around. And Michael's going to see what cars are available. The Wood brothers are going to see what drivers are available. If they don't find something that's compatible in a couple of months, what the heck? They'll go back and say they're going to race in 1999. Bill Weber, what's going on with DJ?
Well, just as Ned speculated, the 88 quality care Ford is a little bit tight. In fact, it's been a little bit tight since the beginning of the race. When they pitted, they put on 4 tires, and they made a chassis adjuster to try and help the car. They did a little bit, but Todd Parrott says DJ is still a little tight right now.
On back to 3rd position, that's Mark Martin, who passed him a few laps ago. Mark is now a 2.5 seconds behind the leader, Jeremy Mayfield.
You see, we're checking first plus points position. You see Jeff Bode Island's good run with gained 3 points in the position.
Johnny Benson got awfully high up there in the corner for some damage. A little bit on the left rear.
Yeah, we see someone has gotten into the left rear. That might be what caused him to go high, but it didn't look like he made too much contact with the... Oh, we got the 50 car very, very slow down the front straightaway, and I thought we were going to have another crash, but...
Side.
Well, we see Wally Dolan back very, very high. It's like it's, I don't know, it's flat tire or a silver or what. I don't know what to do here.
Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Johnny Benson. Top left. There he is.
He was very high. He did a good job of keeping it off the wall, but apparently somebody did get into that left rear corner there that shot him up high, but he kept her out of the wall.
Rusty Wallace trying to stay in the tail end of the lead lap. There's her lead of the race. Jeremy Mayfield in Mobil 1 Ford Taurus.
Putting Morgan Shepherd another lap down. Morgan brought out our first caution of the evening. Morgan is 13 laps down in 41st.
And Mark Martin's beginning to close in a little bit on Jeremy Mayfield. After he got by Dale Jarrett, he was almost a 1.5 seconds behind Mayfield, and now it is down to less than a second.
By Morgan Shepherd. Got some damage early on.
Mark lost a little bit that last lap when he passed Morgan Shepherd. Over a second again. We'll see.
Here, and the numbers on the right indicate speed. So Jarrett the fastest, 2.03 seconds behind.
And we go back and see that Ted Musgrave in the 23 car had the 3rd fastest time. Musgrave right now is back in 12th position.
Mark Martin cut it down to less than a second that last time.
Benson got sideways and was right.
And Mark Martin is right there, right on the back bumper of the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Oh, and Mark gets sideways off number 2. Well, he saw that leader up there and he got excited. And nailed that throttle just a little bit too quickly, and the back end jumped out.
And Johnny Benson's got to be wondering, have I got a tire going down or what's going on here?
Take a look again at Johnny Benson and how Rusty and Jeremy had to slam. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Now we understand why he got sideways, because the 2 car ran in the back of him.
Hit him hard.
And that allowed Martin to close right in. This is from Rusty's car.
Benson goes in right behind the 36 car, and there's the contact with Rusty Wallace.
Already had some damage on the lower left, and he's got a little bit more now from Rusty Wallace. Just some incidental contact.
That's Bristol terminology.
Yes, right. 189 laps as Mark Martin closes in on the leader, Jeremy Mayfield. Back with more of the Goodies Headache Powder 500 in just a moment.
airport before my 8 o'clock flight. Maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Come on!
Didn't get an AC Delco battery? They last up to 30% longer.
Barry!
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
What can service merchandise do to enhance your McDonald's Happy Meal race car collection? Turbocharge it.
Race into service merchandise for our exclusive limited edition Bill Elliott Racing Team set. Get your Ronald McDonald Gold Edition car, transporter, and display stand. A must for racing fans of all ages. Just $14.94. Or bring the $3 coupon on special McDonald's bags and get the set for just $11.94. Only at service merchandise.
My advice, get the service merchandise soon, because this offer's going fast.
So, I read an article that says they think about it every 8 seconds.
I wouldn't doubt it. It seems like the only thing Dave ever wanted.
They have one-track minds. Must be something biological or genetic.
Men, they're all the same.
Hey. You read my mind.
And once again, another caution here at Bristol. This one when Ernie Irvin lost it down in turn 4, and it brings out our 4th caution of the evening. Mark Martin had gotten the lead from Jeremy Mayfield.
And this is how Mark took the lead just as we went to break a moment ago. Goes down in the corner. Jeremy goes up the racetrack a little bit, and Mark just dove to the inside and took that spot away.
And then Jeremy Mayfield lost a position to Dale Jarrett.
And see Ernie Irvin there in front of Mark Martin. Now we watch Irvin as he come off turns 4 and just tries to stay in front of the leader, nails the gas. Around he goes. Mark goes on the inside. Johnny Benson goes on the inside, and man, everybody else just kind of split Ernie.
Oh, they didn't know which way to go.
Mark Martin.
And the leaders are on pit road.
Down to Bill Weber.
Dale Jarrett on pit road, close quarters, wheel straight, foot on the brake, a little bit tight. We'll make an air pressure adjustment on the right rear. Coming around to the left side now, Ward Burton swings in front of him, Bobby Labonte directly behind him. Rusty Wallace crawls down pit road. Here's Jerry Punch.
Right side tires already on now. Left side going on the Valvoline Ford. Mark Martin said, leave the car alone. No changes. Here's Dale Jarrett. Here's Mayfield. Here's Martin. It'll be Jarrett, Mayfield, and Martin in that order. Let's go to John Kernan.
Kenny Irwin Jr. is in a 4-tire change, air pressure adjustment. That last time the car got really tight on him. They're already finished with the right side. Swing around to the left side as the car's pitted on the front stretch already. Come down and put in positions down. However, they're able to fix this car. Now he's going to... Oh, and John Irwin was backing up. And Kenny Irwin had to stop that. Really cost him some time here on pit road.
Wow. He was running, what, about 10th, wasn't he, Ned?
He's got that 22 now.
And he's going to come out running.
Wow. Maybe 20th or maybe even more.
22nd, he will come out running. So we can see, we keep talking about the disadvantage of the front stretch, back stretch, and there it is. There we see the back pits, and watch these leaders. And as we see Kenny Irwin, the 28, trying to race John Andretti, the 43, the STP car, and Andretti will win that battle. Now, it's like the 28 car's coming back in the pits.
Well, he moved to the inside. I'm not sure why. Talking to the NASCAR official.
Slugger back there, Slugger Labby talking to the official.
In any case, 201 laps under the books here at Bristol. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Century Food Mart.
Century makes it easy to get in,
Get what you want.
and get going. Whether it's food, drinks, or fuel, Sentry always has a deal for you.
Make it party time with Coors and Coors Light in 12 packs of 12-ounce cans for $7.29.
And fill up with Citgo gasoline at most Sentry Food Marts. For your engine's protection, there's one name that counts, Citgo.
Sentry, your one stop for fuel, food, and drinks.
Once there was a car. This car needed help. Help with brakes, help with shocks, and help with the muffler. The car owner was perplexed. Where can I take my troubled vehicle to have all these ailments properly mended? And then the voice, it came to her.
Take your car to the King. Brake King, 74th and Jefferson, Newport News.
And she followed the advice of the voice, and her car was made better. And she was pleased with her car, and all was right with the world.
Hi, kids. Try Jungle Jelly. It's a talking pig. If I see one more commercial featuring a talking animal, I'm writing my congressman. Could someone come up with an original idea?
Talking animal commercials are very popular. Quite effective as a marketing tool.
For ESPN Sunday Night Football. 17 weeks, 18 games. Now that's a commercial. Simple, direct, no animal shenanigans. Thank you, ESPN, for respecting my intelligence. ESPN Sunday Night Football. The season begins September 6th.
In half a lap, we'll be going green once again in the Goodies Headache Powder 500. Steve Meal, crew chief for Johnny Benson, is not happy.
No, they penalized his driver a couple of laps, I guess, for, they say, passing the pace car. We see Steve going out to talk to the guy, the official. He's just not a happy camper. Don't get your hands off me, Sid.
That's Steve
Don't
Meal.
touch me.
Jack Roush watching from another vantage point. He's the team owner.
I can't quite read all those hand signals. Everybody's just upset, waving their hands and what have you. But after all, it's Bristol. It's Saturday night. They're supposed to be.
That's right.
Somebody's supposed to be.
And Rusty Wallace was a big benefactor here. Rusty Wallace was right on the tail end of the lead lap. The caution flag comes out. He goes all the way around, goes to the pits, changes 4 tires. He goes from running 29th to running 15th with 4 fresh tires, or at least 2 fresh tires. When the caution flag came out, the 26th car passed the leader of the race after the start-finish line and went on around trying to get a lap back. But in fact, he passed him after the start-finish line.
Dale Jarrett is the leader of the race. He's our 5th leader tonight, followed by Mayfield. Then Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon is as high as I think he's been all evening, except for maybe the start. He is going for 5 consecutive wins. Nobody has done it in the modern era of NASCAR racing, that is since 1972. The Rainbow Warriors have given him another great pit stop, and he is now up to 4th position. That's the teamwork that Jeff talked about at the very beginning of our program.
He was able to go by Ricky Rudd and I think the 18 car on that pit stop. You see Rudd back there, the 10 car is in 5th place. Bobby Labonte is in 6th.
Bristol has been good to Jeff Gordon, but not at nighttime. Neither has Richmond. He has not won at either of those tracks at night. And Ernie Irvin is staying right there with him, isn't he? Ernie is lap down in 33rd position.
Ernie was the reason for the caution, the last one. He spun coming off of turn 4 as he was about to be lapped, but he didn't hit anything.
Now we see Jeff Gordon is putting a couple of laps on, a couple of car lengths on Ernie Irvin, and now Irvin is drifted back in the right in front of Ricky Rudd.
Meanwhile, up front, there is Jarrett with the lap car of Sterling Marlin between himself and 2nd place, Jeremy Mayfield.
But look how far Mike Skinner has pulled out in front of the leader. He beat him down into turn 1 and they've taken off.
Mike back on the lead lap in 30th position. There are 3 cars on the lead lap, and everybody except Dick Trickle still running in this race. Trickle is not listed as out, but his car is off the track being repaired from his accident.
Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace, their pole sitter back in 15th, has only been able to gain 1 position since the restart. He He's up to 14th.
Here's a Hardee's field summary of the manufacturer's battle, first of all. There you see that Fords have the first, second, third, fifth, and seventh positions at the moment.
Colin Marlin going in the corner and bottoming out, dragging the racetrack. You see the sparks flying. And we got a car crash in the back.
Come on.
Well, it took us a while, but we finally have our typical Bristol crash.
Man,
There's Derek Cope involved. Who else?
Brett Bodine is involved. The 96 car is involved.
John Andretti. Robert Presley, who's making his 100th NASCAR Winston Cup start here this evening.
Wow.
And that's how things can quickly change from a good run to a bad one. Cope will take the gum-out Pontiac behind the wall.
Andretti trying to get his car going, but he's got a lot of damage there. And here's the Jasper Engines car of Robert Presley trying to back out of there.
Mike Skinner, the outside pole sitter, was able to stay in front of the leader and get his lap back.
Let's look at it. On the backstretch.
Ever see the 46 car? Jeff Green gets into Brett Bodine. Kevin LePage, the 16 car, gets turned around. And we see Derek Cope has, I guess, ran in the wall is what he hit. And now he comes down, hits the inside wall. Chad Little's also involved, the John Deere car. You see Preston sitting up there. The 96 car, the Cat car, is also involved. Listen and watch.
Ward Burton and John Andretti both hard into the outside wall.
Man.
And from Bill Elliott's on board.
Well, he's got good brakes, I know that.
He got her woed down, didn't he?
He did. Most of his cars were on the lead lap. We've gone down to 24 cars on the lead lap now. We did have 30.
Skinner is in, Jerry.
They're going to make a two-tire change. Only a huge break. This caution for Mike Skinner puts him back on the lead lap. He said with the race, it was the worst car he'd ever had. He has down and away a great pit stop. But in the last pit stop, they made a 5-round adjustment. 3 rounds on the right, 2 rounds on the left. And now he says the car is absolutely perfect, and he's back on the lead lap.
He was the second fastest qualifier last night, but it has not gone well for him in the race. Maybe he can get this thing adjusted and
4,300.
with a good
Left
finish
side
anyway.
only. Left side only.
This crowd loves Bristol. They are here by the thousands to watch the night race at Bristol, one of the most exciting on the 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup Tour. We'll be right back.
Whenever car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
All across America, there to see us through. Just around the corner, a neighborhood Jiffy Lube.
You depend on your car, so trust it to Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube makes it easy. Every 3,000 miles.
3,000 miles, you make us smile. America's Jiffy Lube.
Drive in, drive out, drive on.
In Murray, Utah, a lot of folks like to work on their cars themselves. And they come to AutoZone because they know they'll find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and helpful people like Rick Perry. Now, Rick's been around cars all his life, so he knows a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. And whether it's selling new parts or testing old ones, he's always glad to help. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
ESPN Speed World live coverage of the Goodies Head Encounter 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway being brought to you by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. And by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America, AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, tune into ESPN for Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week. The National League East leading Atlanta Braves host Gary Sheffield and Raul Mondesi when the Dodgers visit Turner Field. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, only on ESPN. We are under our 5th caution of the evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Well, it all started when Brett Bodine in the 11 car got a tap from Jeff Green, the 46, and boy, I tell you what, there's just no place to go and watch all these cars spin around, hit the wall, hit each other, and a lot of damage to a lot of cars.
And the cleanup continues. No indication that we'll be going back green. Several cars were involved in the crash, including Bodine, Cope, Andretti, Strickland, and Robert Presley.
And Ward Burton had hit the wall there, I think, because he came up on it or got knocked into the wall.
In fact, there were 4 other drivers, Little, LePage, Bickle, and Ward Burton. Jerry, what's the story on him?
Well, Ward's just inside the MBNA Pontiac here behind the wall. Ward, a tough break for you. We understand you hit the wall. What happened out there?
I don't know. It looked all 11 and somebody get together. All I did is put on the brakes and damn thing just went straight in the wall. Must have been some fluid down there or something.
The car heavy contact in the wall. It doesn't look that bad, but apparently it's damaged underneath, and they're going to work on the MBNA Pontiac while we're under caution for the 5th time tonight. Working lap 223 here in the Goodies Headache Powder 500. Back with more from Bristol in just a moment.
Shuffling papers all day long requires concentration. Someone hold my calls, I'm on a Big Mac vacation.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
Independent rear suspension, dual shocks, and a sway bar. Rick, it's all there.
That's good, because when things get rough out there, suspension is everything.
Other manufacturers use a straight axle that bounces over obstacles, losing traction. Our independent rear suspension hugs the terrain for better traction and a smoother ride. The Sportsman 500 and the Sportsman 335 with shaft drive.
You gotta ride it to believe it.
Buy a new Polaris ATV now and get a Remington rifle or shotgun. See your Polaris dealer for details.
Oh, I'm dreaming Egg McMuffin, hotcakes and sausage too. Did somebody say McDonald's? I hope this dream comes true.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
Let's do our thing.
It's the day of the playoffs.
Wow, wow, wow.
Big day of the playoffs.
Make your way.
It's the day of the playoffs.
On your way.
Big day of the playoffs.
Thank you, we love you.
It's the day of the playoffs. Big day of the playoffs.
The Palace of Speed, they call Bristol Motor Speedway in Northeast Tennessee. That's the side of our NASCAR Winston Cup race here tonight, as Jeff Gordon goes for 5 consecutive wins, trying to become the first driver in the modern era of NASCAR competition since '72 doing that. Well, here's some typical Bristol activity. Work back behind the wall as drivers try to salvage their cars and get them back on the track to pick up points. John Kernan.
Well, you can see the damage to the front end of John Andretti's car. The crew's already cut the fenders off the front. The nose has been pulled off. The radiator has been pushed back to where it's almost touching the engine. Part of the very front part of the front clip looks like it's bent down a little bit. So Robbie Loomis and the guys have got their work cut out for them to try and get this car ready to get back out onto the racetrack.
And John Andretti's had a good run going. He's finished 13th or better in the last 7 races and moved to 11th in the point standings. Here's the battle up front. Jeremy Mayfield and Mark Martin, first, second, and third. Back and forth is Gordon.
Jeremy Mayfield has been all over Dale Jarrett since the green flag flew again.
See Jeremy Mayfield go down and touch the apron with the left side, and the car drug the racetrack.
Down to Bill Weber.
For Dale Jarrett, a very similar situation to last night. His car gets better the longer he runs. Not good on short runs, better on long runs. So the 12 and 6 need to take their best shot now.
They'll have the halfway mark coming up here in about 16 laps.
Yep.
So that's $10,000. All of them like to have that.
Taking a look to the inside, and he's going to make the move. Put Mayfield back in front.
Here comes Martin trying to take over that second spot. He's there, got position. He'll go into second.
And while that was going on, Ricky Rudd went around Jeff Gordon back there and took over the 4th position.
There is Rudd, who has been among the 5 leaders tonight. Rudd has led 43 laps, the most. Have been led by Jeremy Mayfield, 131. And Ned said we're closing in on the halfway point. There is Gordon, who is back in 5th spot.
See Bobby Labonte, he's the 6th place car, and right behind him a pretty good battle going between Jeff Bodine, he's in 7th, and Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's car, and Ted Musgrave brings the Winston car back up in the battle.
I haven't heard much about Terry Labonte, but he just quietly stays up there in the top 10, and he'll be heard from before this race is over.
And Ted Musgrave having another good run here tonight. He is substituting, as we said, for Jimmy Spencer, who is still trying to get over the concussion that he suffered during the running of the Brickyard 400.
Spencer says he does plan to run next week at Loudon, New Hampshire.
Labonte, of course, a former winner here at Bristol, has 2 victories, and Musgrave just took a position from Terry.
Yes, he did. Moved into the 8th position.
Terry won't get too excited about that. He doesn't get too excited about many things.
A little bit of damage there on Dale Earnhardt's car. He's in 15th.
A lot of damage on that 46 car of Jeff Green, the money store car.
See Skinner, who just got his lap back, came in and changed 4 tires, and he's now up to 16th position.
Just don't burn those new tires up.
Well, the Fords are doing well here, as you can see on the Hardee's Field summary, with 5 in the top 7.
Rick Henry, 2 of his Chevrolets in the top 10. Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte. There's the Pontiacs. Bobby Labonte is leading that group.
Rusty Wallace was able to get back on the lead lap after losing a lap because of a brake problem. And he has now worked his way up to 11th position.
Make that 12.
Just lost it right then, but still, he's only about a half a lap behind the leaders, so he really has made a great comeback.
Sure has.
And the car looks like it's a little worse for the wear, trying to work his way back through there, as a matter of fact.
The battle for 7th here. We're on board with Jeff Bodine, looking back on Ted Musgrave. And Jerry has more on Ted.
Well, they have been trying to get the car number 23 tight enough all night long, and finally Donnie Wingo made the call. They put 3 rounds of bite. Yeah, I said 3 rounds of bite in that 23. And man, Musgrave is the man on the picture right now. The car is tight enough. And by the way, you mentioned Jimmy Spencer. He is down here in the pit helping check the tire, check air pressure. He is right now the biggest cheerleader Ted Musgrave has. He'd love to be in the car. He was almost fearful when they went to the green flag, but he is a part of this team and will be back, as Ned said, next Sunday.
Boy, Jimmy has made no bones about it. He hates to be on the sidelines and see anyone else driving his car, but I know he's happy to see Ted doing such a great job in the Winston Ford.
One thing it's doing, Jimmy is losing in the point standings. He was in the top 10 before he had to sit out these 2 races, but is keeping that number 23 car up there in the point standings, and that is very important. Here's trouble on the front straightaway.
Oh, a car, Brett Bodine has slid to the inside wall near the end of the front stretch.
And the leader, Jeremy Mayfield, ran in the back of Jerry Nadeau. I don't think he hit him hard enough for any damage to the front of the car. I I don't see any damage there.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Jerry Nadeau had slowed down considerably coming to the flag there, which is what he's supposed to do because there was a car in trouble on the front straightaway, and Mayfield couldn't get slowed down quite quick enough.
Brett Bodine got his car righted and pulled out ahead of Musgrave, or rather Mayfield. However, he is still a lap down in 32nd position.
Now, let's see. How many of these guys will make pit stops now?
Well, I don't know. They've only gone about 50 laps, or a little less than 50 laps since they were in, so I doubt if we'll see them. It's coming around for the halfway mark of the race, but the $10,000 won't be awarded on this lap.
Ever see Brett Bodine just lost control coming off turn 4, and that's where all the smoke came from, is he nailed the gasoline trying to keep the car going off the wall, and we'll see what...
Friday, he's on the bottom. Tracks clear, tracks clear, tracks clear, tracks clear. Go, 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 go. Caution's out.
Wally Dallenbach driving through the smoke and getting by unscathed. Sixth caution of the evening is out over Bristol Motor Speedway at exactly the halfway point. Well, now we'll see what happens on pit stops.
Well, if they make them.
Yeah.
Well, right now the pit road is open, and I don't see anybody making a move. Nope. Jeff Gordon, they all stay out there, giving up that, afraid to give up that track position, but 28's in the back pits, isn't he, John?
Yeah, Benny, you're right, along with Rick Mast and Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, all getting 4 tires. Irwin said, the car's good, let's make it really good. So getting 4 tires, the same way Darrell Walker beats him out as to the 75 and 94. And there's a tire that got hit, but fortunately it just banks against the wall and doesn't hurt anything. Just a minor hit.
Okay. Well, the caution is out. We'll be back with more of the Goodies Headache Powder 500 in a moment.
Now just stay still. Don't move. Okay, now, does it hurt when I do this?
Oh.
A possible torn meniscus. Is there any pain when I do this? Oh, all right. You've dislocated your patella. I'm gonna have to set it. Hang on.
Okay. You are an orthopedic surgeon.
No, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
This is no ordinary leather jacket. Because when you put it on, you're not just saying you're a NASCAR fan. You're saying you care about kids. Buy the Exide NASCAR Select battery in 1998 and get the special 50th anniversary NASCAR jacket for just $150.
And on behalf of NASCAR fans everywhere, Exide will donate all profits to Give Kids the World Foundation.
The special edition 50th anniversary NASCAR jacket. Look for details wherever Exide NASCAR Select is sold.
Nice jacket.
One can of paint, $26.
Al, check approval, register 5.
One can of paint, $26.
Al, check approval on 5.
One lousy can of paint, $26.
Al.
Knowing you'll never have to wait for Al, priceless. Debit MasterCard withdraws right from your checking account without the hassle of checks. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's Debit MasterCard.
Al.
To thank the greatest fans in sports and to close its 50th anniversary season, NASCAR offers you a chance to win a fantasy trip to the Napa 500 in November. On September 27th, during ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series race from Martinsville, we will announce a special phone number. When you call that number, you will be given 4 NASCAR-related questions. Answer them correctly, and you could be one of 10 fans to win this exclusive behind-the-scenes experience. Check out NASCAR online and NASCAR Winston Cup Scene for details and a sneak preview of the questions.
We remain under caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway, 254 laps into the Goodies Headache Powder 500. At this racetrack and a lot of others, you have to have both rear tires pulling in the same direction. Here's this week's Track Fact. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State.
In NASCAR Winston Cup racing, there are 2 types of legal rear-end gears, the Detroit Locker rear-end gear and the open rear-end gear. Now, the open gear is what most teams will run while qualifying at Daytona or Talladega. It allows the 2 rear wheels to operate independently of one another. It gives the driver perhaps a little smoother ride around the track and a little better feel for the car. It might be worth a 1/10 of a second in qualifying. But in those races, and just about every other race, most teams will run a Detroit locker rear-end gear. It locks the two rear wheels together, forcing them to operate in tandem around the track, except going into the turn, because when a driver gets out of the gas, the right wheel will unlock. It needs to spin faster because it has a greater distance to travel. But going out of the turn, when the driver gets back in the gas, the two wheels will lock up again, giving him more traction off the turn. The Detroit locker rear-end gear, one of the most dependable pieces in NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
Benny, you were outstanding on that track back.
Didn't I do good?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That has never been explained better.
Thanks to Weber.
Yeah. Look at the crowd. They're on their feet. They love it.
And they want to be on TV. All right, you're on TV.
And we're about to go back to green.
All right, folks, sit down. Watch this green flag.
5 laps to determine the halfway money.
Jeremy Mayfield right now is out front. Mark Martin is second. Then it's Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon running in 5th spot.
Green flag, green flag.
Mark Martin's right in the middle of a hornet's nest.
He sure is. And Jeremy Mayfield is driving away, and he can count that money here just very shortly.
Well, Mark finally cleared the hornet's nest. Now Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon have to run through it.
And Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd is in 4th place.
Ricky Rudd's had an awfully good run here tonight. Never see Bobby Labonte looking on the inside of Jeff Gordon. But Gordon uses the 26 car as a pick, maintains that 5th position.
On board with Jeff Bodine, and he's having a great run in 7th.
There he is, the 42 car, Meanchik, several laps down. This is Labonte's car, the Interstate Batteries Pontiac, as he looks back at Jeff Bodine. And says, I hope this is as close as it gets all night.
There is Gordon and Labonte. There's Terry Labonte, who's running back in 9th. Ted Musgrave just ahead of him in 8th.
And Jeff Burton, how about Jeff Burton's had a great run going tonight. That's the 10th place.
99 car right behind Terry Labonte.
There he goes.
Give Jeremy $10,000 for leading at the halfway point.
And right now, Ned, Dale is closed, falling back right in the clutches of Ricky Rudd.
That's it. That situation that he's had every time on restarts. That car just for about 10 or 12 laps just won't go too good. He was about 5 miles an hour off the pace on the first lap of the leaders. Now he's gradually working back up. He's only just a fraction of a mile an hour slower than the leaders. But
28 is right on your back leg with you. Right on.
Yeah, he is.
No kidding.
I'll agree with that.
Threw a little metal loose there.
This is the 3rd battle for the 13th position. And we can see the rear bumper cover on Skinner's car has been knocked loose.
Skinner came in and got 4 tires during that last pit stop, and so did Kenny Irwin.
Outside, outside, outside.
Skinner
outside.
is here on the
Come on,
front stretch.
still there. Outside, outside, outside.
Irwin on the back stretch.
And Skinner
We're
trying to get by
33 if you
Schrader.
need it.
That's 12th position we're watching. See Earnhardt.
He's back in 16th.
Still there. Clear. Good job.
And here comes Kenny Irwin up beside Ken Schrader.
Now remember, those cars took on new tires. Kenny Schrader did not. And it's telling there right now. He's got about 50 laps on his tires.
Rick Mast goes by and takes over. Now,
all 4 of these cars battling for position.
Ted Musgrave in the 23 car closes in right on the back bumper of Jeff Bodine. This battle's going on almost 6 seconds behind the leader. We see Jeff Burton on the inside of Terry Labonte.
And trying can get the 9th position away. He'll force Terry up the hill, and Jeff goes to 9th.
The Exide batters in 9th spot.
He's on board with Wally Donovac, who is a lap down in 27, so he's not involved in the battle for position here, but he's running with Terry Labonte. He is in a battle for position with the 1 car, Steve Park.
Went a lap down early, Steve Park did. And Wally in the first 150 or so laps went a lap down.
There you see on the move, Kenny Irwin from 34th up to 13th, and Darrell Waldrop, who started last in 43rd position, is up to 24th. Earnhardt has gained 15 spots.
Bobby Hamilton gained 14.
I was going to try to do that arithmetic in my head, Benny, but I couldn't, so I'll let you do it.
That's why I did it for you, because I knew you never did it.
How about some Tabasco hot zone telemetry here?
And Mark Martin gains on Jeremy Mayfield. See those RPMs in miles per hour?
Uh-oh, Jeff Gordon loses another spot. Bobby Labonte moves into the 5th spot. Gordon back to 6th. Oh, we got trouble up in, looks like Benson in the wall up in 1.
Indeed it
and
is.
No caution flag yet, but he's going to stop.
Now the caution's out.
Caution is out for the 7th time, Jerry.
Kenny Schrader came right up on the 26 and started to make a move, and he looked like he was going to go left and right, and then couldn't make a decision, or maybe couldn't get the car cut enough. He ran right into the back of the 26 car, lifted the 26 up in the air, and then it was over with. Benson's car began to sail up toward the wall, and thus the caution flag.
Well, we pick it up after Schrader had made the impact with Johnny.
We saw the impact with the wall. Obviously, that's the damage to the back of the car was done when he backed into the fence, not when Schrader ran the back of it, but that was the cause of going in the wall.
Now, will they pit? They've run about 77, 78 laps since they pitted. I believe they'll come in this time.
Looks like they are. The pit road is open.
Yep. Now we'll see if the Rainbow Warriors can get Jeff some positions on the racetrack in the pits, Bill.
His last pit stop was 17.6 seconds. Triple pits on your screen. Right side tires for Gordon going on. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Jerry punches in the leader's pit.
Likewise, a track bar adjustment in the Mayfield car. 12, 6, and 24. You're seeing Mayfield, Martin, and Gordon. Gordon is out. Here comes Mayfield in our side-by-side. Looks like Bobby Labonte will be the first one across pit road. 17-second pit stop for the 24 crew. Let's go to John Kernan.
Kenny Irwin and his crew talked about not making a pit stop, but they go with right side tires only. Let's see. It looks like he may be tied with Mark Martin, so he's going to come out in front of Jeff Gordon. Took only right side tires. He was a little bit tight that last run. Rick Masters come in. He's taking on 4 tires. Bill Elliott, last pit stop, took only right side tires. He's back in. He takes on 4 tires. They head back out there.
So Irwin gains quite a few positions on the track by just taking 2 tires. Hey, look who just led a lap. Dale Earnhardt.
Now, he had stopped not too long ago during the last caution, so he is the leader of the race now.
More from John Kernan.
Yeah, that was, what, about 15, 16 laps ago. In fact, Earnhardt pitted once, took on right side tires. He then had to come back in and take on left side tires. So he got 4 fresh tires. They only had about 15 hard laps on them, so they decided to keep the Intimidator out on the racetrack to gain track position.
So Dale Earnhardt up front, and look at the battle for position coming out of the pits.
Hey, you're right. Here comes Bobby Labonte. There goes the 12. Here comes Dale Jarrett. And right behind him, there Mark Martin is leaving. And right behind him is Jeff Gordon watching all this stuff. There we see Gordon going out.
Now, Bobby Labonte is one that made a great pit stop here on the front pits.
Yep.
He was running in 5th position, came out of that group in 1st, but he's not losing the race.
He will be in 3rd position as we go back to green, and Jeff Gordon will be in the 8th position. No driver in the last 10 years has won both races. In the same year, Jeff Gordon did win the spring race here at Bristol. We'll be right back.
Whose tires offer great handling and traction, plus precision cornering?
Cooper. Precisely. Cooper, your next set of tires.
GEX, the area's Cooper tire store with locations in Hampton and Newport News, featuring free mounting, free computer balancing, free air valves, free rotations, and free flat repairs on every tire sold. Look to GEX for your next set of tires.
September 5th, get ready for the film event of the year, the NFL Film Super Bowl Marathon. ESPN Classic proudly presents 15 hours of the films that keep your butt planted on the couch. Starring Broadway Joe, The Snake, Hollywood Henderson, and the return of the Fun Bunch. All battling to possess the one trophy everyone wants. The NFL Film Super Bowl Marathon, September 5th, only on ESPN Classic. If you don't get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
There's the green flag. We are back to racing here at Bristol, and there are several lap cars ahead of the leader of the race, Dale Earnhardt. Darrell Waltrip is running second, and then Bobby Labonte third.
And a number of those cars in front there are just one lap down. Sterling Marlin, he's back on the lead lap. So is Steve Park and Ernie Irvin and Wally Dallenbach. They're racing for their life out there in front of Dale Earnhardt to try to stay on that lead lap. You know, the cautions should come out here pretty early. They'll be right back in.
Wow, look at the traffic out there as Rudd moves below Gordon.
Here comes Skinner. Oh! And there comes Ted Musgrave, the 23 car. I tell you what, when you get slow cars in front of the field of faster cars, more tires on at Bristol. That's a recipe for disaster.
I'd hate to see a wreck develop in the middle of that pack there. It would take out a lot of competitive cars. Wow, Jeff Bodine, who was running up in the top 10, is behind the wall. What's going on down there?
Well, Bob, very tight quarters down here on pit road. Jeff Bodine has hit 18 cars' tires a couple of times, leaving his stall. This time he hit one really good and knocked the radiator out of it. He's behind the wall. They're trying to replace it, get him back out. John Kernan.
Bill Elliott just came on the pit road, took right side tires. He thought he had a right rear tire going down. It was very, very loose. Now Sterling Marlin's talking things over now with his crew chief Tony Glover, saying, hey, I think I have a left rear tire going down. Now Tony will take a look. He's come up several pits. He will look at the left rear tire as Marlin comes down on the pit road. Says left sides only. So Sterling with a flat left rear tire. So this is tucked in there. There's a crash. Turn up to the 13 car.
Dennis Setzer into the wall in turn number 2. Another scrambling to avoid him, including Chad Little.
Break 4. Ernie Irvin and the one car of Steve Park, they got back on the lead lap.
Dennis Setzer trying to get the thing started. There's a lot of raw fuel in the exhaust pipe. And when he tries to start it and he opens the throttles, look at all that fuel come pouring. The bank is just pouring all that fuel out of the carburetor.
He probably realized that, so he said, let me get it turned around. He don't know how much damage he's got to that Ford. Whoops, better get out of there, Dennis.
Now, I think he finally got it started. Now, there we go. All he needs to do is start the thing and get all that power out, and that'd be good to go.
Damage to the rear and the right front of the car.
See the First Plus Financial crew. We see him there on the outside of Skinner as he comes down, and then we see Ted Musgrave on the inside. And just a little touch from Terry Labonte as he go down in the corner, and Setzer goes in that wall.
Here it is from another angle. Just the slightest touch from Labonte.
Watch all those cars go by, and just fortunately he did not come down the racetrack.
Caution number 8 is out over Bristol Motor Speedway here at the end of 291 laps. Dale Earnhardt still leads.
In Denton
in Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Okay, it's my big debut. Here we go. Wise. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Good.
Wise. Did he forget his line or what? Is this the regular one or is he the understudy? Is this... Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hey, you gotta wait for me. Let's... Hold it, not you. He goes, then I... Wait a second, not you. Hold it. Why? Why? I can't work in this environment. Cut! Cut!
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Thank you. Next.
Howard Sherman.
Will you be a fair and impartial juror in this trial?
Yes, sir. I think I can. I think everybody has the right to a fair trial in this country, and innocent till proven guilty. That's my motto.
Excuse.
If you're going to get out of jury duty,
What?
get out of jury duty. If you're going to get a burger, get a burger. The Monster Burger, only at Hardee's. 2 large, juicy patties with the most bacon and cheese you can get.
You gonna go? Go all out.
Just after 9:30 Eastern Time, if you're just joining us, welcome to ESPN Speed World coverage of the Goodies Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. And a beautiful overhead shot from the Pennzoil copter cam. We've talked about how Jeff Gordon is going for 5 in a row and how nobody's done it in the modern era. Richard Petty and Bobby Allison both did it in 1971. That is not considered the modern era. Everything since 72 is. And, of course, Richard Petty won 10 in a row back in 1967. And then there is the story about Billy Wade, who won 4 races in a row. July 10th in Old Bridge, New Jersey, July 12th in Bridgehampton, New York, July 15th at Islip, New York, and July 19th in Watkins Glen, New York. In the year 1964, he won 4 in a row and never won again.
And unfortunately, Bobby lost his life. He tested the tires for Goodyear at Daytona, and he's the guy, he and Darrell Derringer, that tested the tires for Bud Moore and for Goodyear, the interliner tires, and he was killed during that test.
There is Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. They're going for 5 in a row here tonight. And just like last week, Jeff has not really been a contender tonight. He's currently in 10th position, and he has not led a lap so far. Under caution, it was out on lap 289.
And there was in the 13 car, Dennis Sessa, the first Plus Financial car. The Captain Labonte in turn 1, into the wall he goes.
Down to Bill Weber on Jeff Bodine.
Jeff Bodine sits behind the wall. They're trying to change out the radiator. He's still in the car with the helmet on. He hopes to get back out. He's losing laps, and we're back under green.
And Wally Dallenbach was up there alongside Dale Earnhardt and missed a shift or something because he dropped back.
Well, he realized that he was up there in front of Earnhardt, and he didn't want to go across the start-finish line in front of him. So he did back off.
Dale Earnhardt is out front at Bristol. Boy, we used to say that a lot. We haven't recently, but it's good that Dale is back out front here at Bristol. He's being pursued, however, by Bobby Labonte, and the interval is shrinking.
And Jeremy Mayfield, and that interval is shrinking as well. The difference between second and third is inches. Here comes Jeremy. Oh, he's got a good car right now.
If they're able to go to the front, that will.
Oh, we got a crash. There's Michael Walter. But a great run going. And caution flag waves once again.
Michael Waltrip was in the top 10 at one point in the evening, and now it's beginning to look a lot like Bristol as we have heavily damaged race cars, including that of Steve Park.
And he had gotten back on the lead lap just a little bit ago, but now, damn, look at the damage to the sit-go Ford.
John Kernan has more on Steve Park.
This might very well be the end to a positively terrible night for Steve Park and his team. Earlier in the race, talking things over with Felipe Lopez's crew chief, he said, I don't like this car. I don't like it so much that whenever we get it back to Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, let's make a show car out of it.
I guess he doesn't like it, huh?
I don't think he likes that car.
They'll have to fix it up a little bit to make a show car out of it. They wouldn't want it out there like that, would they?
Well, they could tell him this is how a car looks when it runs Bristol.
There you go.
Be a nice show car.
We're under our 9th caution of the evening. 301 laps completed. Back in just a moment.
Hey, Mr. Science. Ever wonder what a hard-working engine goes through? It gets the high rev, and I drove over the mountain because it was there, crap kicked out of it. With abuse like that, you don't want to take chances. This is Quaker State 4x4, a synthetic blend for hard-working engines made by guys with more college degrees than they've had dates. Been tested for pure maximum protection. There's nothing better. I wouldn't lie to you. They're not paying me enough. Quaker State, sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Finally, after 49 years, you now have a soft drink that not only refreshes your thirst, it refreshes your sport. Drink accordingly.
Hey, you heard about that guy, Sean?
He's so cool. No one's ever scored that many points. He's going to any college he wants. The man is unbelievable.
There he is. He is so smart.
From the software for the SATs to the educational and internet enhancements, there's nothing like the new Compact Creative Learning Series. Home computers that can help kids do better in school so they'll do better in life. Only at Radio Shack.
It's really not that complicated. Let's try it again, okay?
For everyone who'd rather do it themselves, for these magnificent do-it-yourselfers, we make the new generation of Wagner Power Painters. With power to handle today's thicker one-coat latex paints. An attachment that draws paint right from the can to paint straight up or down. And simple electronic settings to spray as wide or as narrow as this, which makes you more incredible than ever. If it needs painting, staining, or sealing, the choice is easy. Get a Wagner and get it done.
Just as the green flag comes out, you rejoin us here at Bristol. Dale Earnhardt still has the lead. A lap car, but no lap cars between himself and Terry Labonte running second. Then comes Jeremy Mayfield and Mark Martin.
And there see Mark Martin on the inside of the lap car of Sterling Marlin said, let me go up here and race with these guys.
And Sterling did exactly what Wally Dallenbach did there a moment ago. Earnhardt was very slow taking off, and Sterling jumped out, and then he had to put the brakes on almost to not beat him to the start-finish line. So that let a lot of cars pass him.
He's 2 laps down in 28th position, Sterling Marlin is.
He, of course, made a green flag pit stop when he had a flat tire.
Dale Earnhardt has led 30 laps here tonight. Jeremy Mayfield has led the most, 173. And Mayfield taking a look at Bobby Labonte.
Jeff Gordon is back in 10th spot, folks, as he tries to work his way back after that pit stop. There's C 28 to 10. Jeff Gordon, that's 6 through 10. 7th through 10th, I'm sorry. Bob's calculating. And there goes a 6 car by Jeremy, moves him into 3rd spot.
Mark Martin had been running the fastest laps here since the green flag came out again. It still is.
And high side of the racetrack.
Not often do you see them pass for the lead on the high side. But now Earnhardt's tires are older than those cars that are passing him right now.
Bobby Labonte takes the lead for the first time this evening.
You see Mark Martin going by Earnhardt on the outside, or trying to, I should say.
He becomes our 7th leader so far tonight. We're averaging only about 84 miles an hour because of the 9 caution flags that we have had for 62 laps. John.